Hey everybody, this is your girl, doing another episode of Kicked Puppy Healing. This episode we're gonna kind of not totally go off track of what we usually do, but kind of do a different avenue on it. It's about first impressions. First impressions that you get from people and kind of where trust issues come into play with it. Right now, I'm going to be focusing mainly on first impressions of me being a female and first impressions of men. Because, excuse me, because for the most part, if I'm meeting somebody just as an acquaintance, oh, this is such and such, through a mutual friend, then it's okay. I'm like, alright, I'll be nice to ya and everything's great and I don't worry about it. Females, same thing. I don't really like a lot of females. You have to be really cool for me to want to be your friend. So we're going to focus mainly on men's first impressions if it's a man who there's potential of it becoming a relationship. My big thing is first impressions are killer because there's a whole theory on how well can you really judge somebody, whether you can trust them or not on their first impression. And here's the thing. The thing about first impressions is, it does set the tone psychologically for how you feel about that person. If it's a bad first impression, you're always going to kind of hold that in the back of your head. But, one is to argue at what point could the first impression be proven false. Because everybody has their bad days. Everybody has days where they're upset or just not feeling it, don't want to be bothered. That happens. But first impressions from men, here's what goes on in my head. If they compliment me at all, this is so wrong, but I automatically assume that it's bullshit. Because again, I have trust issues, and I will automatically, it doesn't matter, what the compliment is, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to believe them, no matter what they say. So that's a problem that I have. Second of all, first impressions as far as trying to gauge what their intentions are. Now this is a sticky situation because you really can't tell. Sometimes people, you meet them and, let's just say you're getting introduced to each other because somebody else thinks you guys would be a great couple, and you get the first impression, and something doesn't line up right, and it's just horrible. Well, that's not necessarily just because a person you don't click with them, that doesn't mean that they're not trustworthy. But when there's, how can I put it? When there's a certain amount of expectation, even going into it before you actually meet that person, it's kind of a rough area because they want to put their best foot forward. You always kind of guard what you're saying. You think before you speak, in most cases. It's a lot of feeling that other person out, seeing, if you're a big jokester, you have to feel them out to see if you could actually joke the way you want to with them. It's all these things. But there's a certain, and I know it's self-defeating, but there's one thing that I know that I do all the time, especially if I'm first meeting a man who the underlying, assumption is that maybe this could be somebody that I could be in a romantic relationship with. One of the first things is, I don't want to say if you can't hold my interest, but if I feel like you're a dud when I'm talking to you, I find myself being really mean. Like, I'm so over it, and I'm just like, alright, you're dead in the water. Like, I just don't even want to talk to you. You bore me. If I can't have that wit where it's like back and forth right from the beginning, I figure, okay, this isn't going to go anywhere, because I'm very random. I say very random things. I like to joke around a lot, and if I can't have a guy that can keep up with me that way, then it's done. Fish in the water, put a fork in it, you are done. But here's where having that kind of mentality ends up biting me in the ass in the long run. I like the people that are, quick on their feet, they can come right back. That kind of person tends to often be, how can I say this? Players. Because players are always the guys that, quick-witted, they know exactly what to say, they've been there, done that, they're usually the life of the party, they're big flirts, and those are the guys that, I'm sorry, you cannot trust. Because if they're not getting it from you, if they're not getting the attention and the satisfaction that they want from you, they're gonna go get it somewhere else, and it doesn't really fucking matter, So, that's where I end up running into problems with first impressions, because if you can't hold my interest, then, and let me clear something up. There's a difference between not being able to, not being able to hold my interest and being shy and awkward. There's a difference. So anyway, that's something that I kind of noticed, that what I like is what I need to end up staying away from. That, that really talkative, lots of energy kind of guy, I've found that a lot of them aren't very trustworthy, because they don't have any reason to be truthful to you in their own head, because if you don't like what they're saying, then they'll just go find somebody else. So that's actually just kind of a little bit of, digging in myself that I noticed is something that happens a lot. So what my question is to you guys, what's something that is usually a make or break deal on first impressions? And we'll talk about romantic relationships. Friendships are different. They build, there's lots of layers to them, so they take time. We'll just talk about romantic relationships. What on first impression is either a make or break deal that ends up being something that becomes an issue and becomes a roadblock for you damn near each and every time? Okay? You guys let me know. Write a comment in the box or send me a message on the front page. There's that little thing in the little bio where you can send a message. Either way, you guys can get a hold of me. This is going to be going on pretty regularly. I'll have a lot of videos uploaded, so you guys keep tuning in to www.youtube.com/kickedpuppyhealing, and we'll talk to you soon. Alright, everybody have a great day. Bye!